Alright. What's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday, October 22nd. So this video I'm going to break down Beyond Meat, BYND, the fake meat stock. I'll talk about the flows, the option flows, dark pools, the liquidity stock, the structure that led to this squeeze that we just witnessed. And I want you guys to be able to find similar setups in the future. I'll also talk about my plan, what I personally do and did with my own money, and how I planned on trading this. And yeah, obviously nothing that I talk about here is financial advice or tax advice. Always do your own due diligence. You don't need to listen to me, don't listen to anyone on the internet, especially not anyone who sells you opium or promises you false hope on a stock that already squeezed over 1,000% in just a matter of days. So just be smart, trade your own plan. Everything I talk about is for educational purposes only. Now, let's start. So a bit of background, Beyond Meat, for anyone that doesn't know, the fake meat company, as I call it, IPO'd back in 2019, traded at highs. It actually reached 150 at some point, and then all the way down to below $1 just recently, last week. Now, in terms of levels, again, what I do have is these two trends. I believe this was kind of the beginning of the real bear trend. We gotta switch a little bit here, go back, so the volume won't be obviously as noisy after the squeeze we just saw. And I believe after the obvious downtrend, we got a bit of the pump, and beginning of 2023, January 2023, was kind of the beginning of the real downtrend on Beyond Meat. So that's kind of just a channel that I had. You can see these trends and the reaction every time. You can call it supply, call it resistance, whatever you want. It's semantics. And then I have this trend line from October 2023 all the way here. Once it flipped it, it started a big downtrend, tested it again in July 2025, which I'm going to talk about the big flows that entered on July 2025, the bears. These are the main key ones that we followed, that led into the sell-off all the way to below 60 cents, 50 cents even. And then it's obviously beyond squeeze just recently. It squeezed as high as almost 1,500 in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trading days. Right, all the way from 50 cents to 7.69 noise. This was the high. All right, so that's a bit about that. The background, quick S&P 500. If we'll just look at it, it's important just to kind of understand where we stand, right? So we had the 2022 bear market. After that, at the end of not even Q4, but towards the end of 2023, the markets truly recovered and basically melted up into new highs. Kind of confirmed, obviously, that bears kept getting bamboozled and dips were buying opportunities. And then Nasdaq outperformed 2023. 2024, 2025 was even kind of the year of cyclical and growth, which is why I believe we're in an expansion in the market, what I call a late stage expansion. Again, where growth and high beta and a lot of IPOs across the board, a lot of stocks squeeze and give you a lot of opportunities to trade upside. But again, you just gotta understand as well that the August carry trade Fugazi was here. Liquidity added right away to the upside. Same thing happened with the tariff sell-off, right? And I talked about it. I kind of predicted a big sell-off to come. I didn't expect this much of a sell-off, but I saw a volatility expansion coming to the markets and a big sell-off across the board on S&P 500 and the stock market, and it did happen. And even then, we saw a lot of red in our portfolios. But again, anyone who bought back in April, May is very happy right now. Market is still, it's currently red as I speak, right? And again, it's VIX expiration, VIX options expiration. So you'll see a lot of volatility. That's how it is. But you gotta understand, we're still like what, 1-2% from all-time highs. So you can't go stupid here. You can't go on overall mega caps or overall stocks. You can't go to the gen just because this was the time to buy. And again, I'm a swing trader. I'm not a day trader, so I'm looking for opportunities for months, sometimes weeks if it plays out faster, sometimes even days. But that's how I trade, right? I look for opportunities, what I believe is cheap. And again, Beyond Meat, just to be clear, is usually definitely not what I trade, definitely not what we trade in the flow trading Discord. But when the opportunities come to us, that's what we do it. That's just how we did with Open, which is a completely different story because I actually believed in this company for many reasons. Not a fan of at all of recent earnings reports, but again, it was kind of something we followed for years. So once the opportunity came, we bought at 70 cents. And I'm still long Open for what it's worth, by the way, even though I sold a lot of covered calls and I closed some of my shares. So trade is more than profitable. Now to Beyond Meat, same drill. Again, I'm gonna go over the tweets right now. I actually sold covered calls yesterday and they went in the money today. Now they're actually, I see Beyond is trading at 3.8. I'm only going to do daily, nothing really less, but just interesting to see now with how crazy it's been in the past few days. It got all the way to, as we said, 7.69. Now it's trading at 3.8. Very volatile right now, very volatile. You can see the volume. You can see how liquidity reacts at different levels. The calls that I personally sold, covered calls, were in the money at some point today, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't mind getting my shares called away. Again, I already closed half of my position, more than profitable trade, no matter what happens from here. So for me, that's how I approach it. If it does go higher, I'll probably sell more calls, but I'm only holding, you can say, you can call it a moon bag, right? What I'm holding right now, what I have, is just because I don't mind. I took already a lot of profits. So what I have left, I don't mind holding to potentially sell more covered calls on. I'm not bullish on the company, just to be clear. That's just me. You do you. I'm not bullish on the company at all. It was just a structure that presented itself. And I'll talk about everything now. All right, so okay. First of all, let's look at the Beyond Meat 66 cents. Yeah, here we go. So I still have, again, I sold most of my position from shares and I already sold cover calls against my shares. So the shares I have left with no calls attached to them or whatever, it's a few thousands of the shares. That's it. Again, it was more than profitable. We had people that absolutely killed it. 600,000 on Beyond and more. You can see really killed it in the Discord and secured the gains. And the key here with this type of plays is to be before the crowd, before everyone starts talking about it, because now everyone's talking about Beyond Meat, right? It's in the news, everyone's talking about it, and that's exactly what you want when you want to sell the FOMO. I also see all of the comments starting to tell me it's going to 50, it's going to 100, it's going to 200. Why are you selling covered calls? You're crazy. It's the biggest squeeze out there. Okay, yeah, I get it. All right, let's take a step back for a second. And you can trade your plan. As I've said, anyone can do whatever they want. I'm not a fan of opium. When I start seeing too many people talking about it, I usually like to sell the FOMO. And again, IVP, HVP, these are all IV stats. Implied volatility were extreme on options, so I just this is for me a clear signal to sell, especially if the entry is so good as 60 cents. All right, so this is where I posted about Beyond on X. I'm watching this from the Flow Trading account, right? But this is my account. This is my personal account, Orlando. This is Orlando. That's my @ and you can see here back on October 17. All right, nice. So this is what I posted. I replied to Unusual Wells. Here on August 14th, we saw mega put buyers. Now, these are the ones that I wanted you guys to see, okay? We have July 25th. I'm going to show you this in a second. And then I posted on October 17 that there's a big unwinding of shorts, meaning the big put buyers actually closed their positions. $6 million worth of premium December 2027 in the money puts. This can create positive delta pressure, especially if retail piles in, which obviously a lot of retail did pile in, institutions covered the shorts or got squeezed. And that's how these options led stonks squeeze. So I posted it on October 17. You can obviously see on October 17 was basically here, right? When we bought it, we talked about it on VC, on voice chat, on the Discord, on stream. Shout out Fungi, our mod. He actually asked me about Beyond and he thought that there's an opportunity here because we've been tracking it. and definitely was. Okay, 2.618 is 56 cents. And again, technicals alone mean nothing for me. It's like astrology. It's just like flows can sometimes mean nothing, especially if you don't understand the complex strategies in options flows, just like fundamentals sometimes don't mean nothing, especially short term. You gotta combine the whole picture, understand the structure of the sector in stock, agriculture, right? Even with the tariffs a little bit, you could say there's a lot of liquidity moving in the area. Meme stocks being a late stage expansion, and obviously flows combining with technicals, combining with the market cycle which we're at. Again, a lot of IPO, a lot of stocks are squeezing, and so forth. So back to this. These are the puts that I posted, and we follow them, we track them. Again, August 14 when I posted it on X, and then I updated that October 17 they closed it. I'm going to show you this now. Again, if you look at flows from today, a lot of noise. A lot of this is going to be retail, toots, institutions, like just a lot of noise. You're going to see different type of spreads, people FOMO on calls, buying calls, selling calls, buying puts, selling puts, buying deep in the money puts to short the stock instead of going short the underlying stock. They prefer the quote unquote safer method by deep in the money high delta puts. That's a way just to short the stock with less capital. But again, there's a lot of, you see this for example, eight dollar strike deep in the money puts. But again, some synthetics options positions to mimic a stock trade. A lot of things happen today. We don't have time for this right now. So what I'm going to do is kind of break down, as I promised, what happened that led to the squeeze. So these are the $2 puts that we've tracked. Now here's the interesting thing that I want you guys to see. Look at the 90-day contract from Unusual Wheels of these $2 puts for December 2027. That's a long-term options that were opened back here. They opened the $2 puts back on July 25th. What is the July 25th? It's right here. That's where they opened it, right where it kind of rejected from my trend line here. What I talked about, the last one, it acted as support, and this is the time that it actually acted as resistance. And they opened a lot of puts, $2 puts. Okay, what happened after they opened the puts is that open interest went up a day after. So you can tell that it's obviously a new position. Someone opened these puts. And what I found very interesting with this is that actually options were listed a day or 2 days before. So it's a completely newly listed contract, and someone already aped into a lot of puts, almost $4 million of puts. So this is definitely something worth watching, as we kept watching until they closed on October 13, which you can obviously tell by volume and open interest going down. This is unwinding of puts, right? So it's basically when puts, a short position unwind, is a massive short that's being closed. I'm not a big believer of following short interest data on stocks. Again, it's self-reported and many reasons. I believe markets are options driven, so that's what I trust more than anything. And that's why we follow the flow, right? We follow the money. We want to see what the money is actually doing. We don't care about mainstream media doing, what social media is talking about is insane. It doesn't matter if it's the longs trying to pump it to $69 or the short saying they now short the stock. Personally, I would not even now short this type of stocks. I would just not. It's like shorting an active squeeze. I think it's asking for pain. Just like I would not, no way that I would long it after such a massive squeeze. You want to be ahead of the move, before the move, and sell the FOMO. So yeah, they unwinded the shorts, and this was on October 13th. So we saw the operations going down there. And then again, if you kind of look more, October 16, you had some pretty unusual, slightly in the money at the time because the stock traded at 53 cents only. You see here on October 16. And they opened some pretty unusual 0.5 calls for November 7th, which is a weekly expiry. Look at this, 40 open interest, and then it went up a day after the volume, obviously. 61,000 new open interest. So this is a big player that opened a position. And by the way, they closed, well, half of it. Probably someone else took the other side. Anyways, they closed it here. They could have closed for much more, but again, they made money on this trade. That's how it works. No one's going to time the exact top and bottom. Anyone who tells you they will, or they know where the top is lying. I don't know as well when the top is. I don't know where the bottom is. I just look for opportunities, and where I feel like it's time to pounce, that's the time to kind of, take the opportunity when the markets present it. You can't chase it. You can't right now follow too many flows after the expansion, after the squeeze. You got to be ahead of it. But again, more calls, more big short unwind. And then we talked about it on stream, on VC, right here on Friday. And that's why I tweeted, again, this one on Friday, that a big time POS. But again, shorts who don't pay attention to option flows might get trapped, which obviously, after I posted it on October 17, shorts did get trapped as it squeezed big time. All the way to $7 again, from 50, 60 cents, right? And what made us really look at it, again, shout out Fungi, our mod in the flow trading Discord, for actually bringing this to my attention when I was streaming on VC. He asked about it on Friday right here. And then we also saw the big dark pools. Look at this, October 17, 8:22 a.m. Pacific time at 64 cents. It's not that big, right? $4 million. But again, it's a contingent trade, meaning it's actually conditional. And what I found very interesting is that it happened a few days after the big puts unwind, when it happened on October 17. Again, if you look at the timing, you just look at the chart. In October 17, it happened here after a big sell-off. And I felt like it, you can speculate whether it's someone long, someone went long the stock, someone covering shorts through dark pools, because again, that's what dark pools are, right? Alternative trading systems where institutions can trade big size instead of using the list exchange. And again, a lot of people talk about manipulation. Yeah, 100%. Markets are manipulated, right? That's why we follow the flow. We follow the money. So we can better ourselves as retail investors and traders and see what the big money is actually doing, not what they tell us they're doing. And again, everything lined up in terms of some Fibonacci levels of 618. Obviously, the fake mid dark pools here are at 64, and it just looked too good. So that's why I kind of said, okay, probably I'm going to buy right now Beyond Meat, and we bought it. And that's why a lot of people made great money. A day after, it squeezed higher 127%, then 146%, then even more today. And this is where it all began, last Friday. Okay, so once they unwind the puts from July, so 3 months later, this is something you always want to keep on track, especially being a sweeper, meaning someone urgently wanted out of this position to take profits while the puts were in the money. So it can naturally lead to an environment where market makers hedge it by buying stock. Especially again, if retail keeps piling in and buying more and more stock as they chase the squeeze and they push it higher. That's just how this works. It's a liquidity vacuum setup. Okay? Again, and algos is gonna buy it, retail's gonna buy it. That's usually how the squeezes are playing out. So that's why I always gotta add, you can't just look at technicals because it's like astrology, technical analysis with no context. You can't look at flows without understanding the context behind it, because again, it also means nothing. You gotta combine everything together. Look at the chart, look at the flows, understand the market cycle, the structure, understand the business as well. I'm not a bull. Personally, I'm not bullish on Beyond Meat. I'm not bullish on the company at all. For me, it's a trade. That's just me. Again, you guys can do you. As I've talked about yesterday and I tweeted, I sold covered calls. As I've said, they went in the money, but now they're out of the money. So now I don't mind even if they enter in the money as well and I get my shares called away. I'm cool with it. I'm going to leave a moon bag, a few thousands of shares just to be. And I don't mind selling more covered calls if it goes higher. But for now, this trade has been more than profitable. And this is how you follow the flow. Okay, you gotta let these opportunities come to you. It's a very risky trade, yeah, but it played out. Just like Open played out for us when we bought it at 70 cents. Similar thing. We saw unwinding of options positions. We saw bulls stepping in. And we saw a lot of activity. And obviously Open squeezed much higher. Also a different story, because Open I've been tracking for like 2 years. I thought this company has true potential. Again, as I've said though, even though I'm not a fan of it at all of the recent earning reports, but just another example of a big squeeze Open that we found and longed at 70 cents. And there's going to be more opportunities like this in the market. You just gotta understand that more FOMO will come with it. A lot of people are talking about it now. They didn't talk about it earlier when it was cheaper. A lot of people are chasing and trading momentum, which is perfectly fine. Everyone can trade it. But when people tell you it's going to 69 tomorrow, it's going to 100, 200 with no real base, and just because they kind of want the engagement and attention after it already squeezed, I don't like saying this personally. Okay, so again, trade your plan. I'm rooting for you, everyone. But for me, you're either ahead of this move or I'm not interested at all. So for now, I'm done watching it daily, more than profitable. And going into the next one, there's already a lot of kind of shorts, big shorts that worth watching in terms of put options that eventually will unwind and can cause a squeeze. You need a lot of things to add up. Add this level 6.96 to your chart. That's a dark pool from today, 5 a.m. pre-market. So this is a big liquidity area as well that you can watch. As I said here, fake mid dark pools at 6.96. Again, could be a big player shorting, could be a big player taking profits. Just look at the area, look at where it happened, right? And you can look at it as support resistance or supply and demand. The key here is also to understand though that after such a volatile move and an IV expansion, you just don't want to be the one that chasing the stock. And again, I see a lot of people already saying it's the next Carvana. Okay, maybe. That's not what I'm betting on. I'm trying not to be right. I'm trying to be on the right side of the trade. We were on the right side of the trade. For now, as I've said, selling covered calls because of IVP and HVP, which are implied volatility stats, were stupidly stupid. And that's that, guys. Okay, combine dark pools, understand the option flows that came before the FOMO and before the crowd starting to pile into it. And that's what's going to tell you much, much more than whatever is happening after the stock already squeezed. So that's why it pays to follow the flows. And that's it from here. It's a lot of more things that I can talk about, but I hope this helped. Let me know if it did. Feel free to ask me questions on X or on the comments in the YouTube channel. And yeah, as I've said, you can follow me on X. I try to be pretty active on X here. This is Orlando. That's my tag. That's my @ and yeah, that's it. And just to be clear, anyone who's even thinking about joining our Discord and wants because they want this type of plays every other day or every week, don't join. That's not what we're about at all. Now you'll see a lot of shorts being loud, a lot of longs being loud. That's the time to take a step back and, you know, sticking to your plan. So much love. Appreciate you guys for watching. And I'll see you around. Peace out.